What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and I'm back with another video. This time I am bringing you a contest entry for my man Alex from the Underground Vault, and it's his 500 subscriber contest. So, congratulations, buddy, on the 500 subs. First off, I gotta say, man, congratulations, of course, and it's a fucking crime that you don't have more, because you really do deserve it. You do a really good job with your videos, and just always lots of good content, man. You just really putting in work. I really respect that. So, and yeah, so the contest questions. You wanted to know what some of our favorite intros and outros and skits and interludes and stuff like that were on albums. So I went through the collection and I pulled out a few that came to my mind. Yeah, I mean, I got a fair amount of stuff. I could have kept going on and on, actually, so I kind of had to trim it down a little bit so it didn't get too ridiculous in the video. But anyways, I'll get right into this. The first one I thought of, actually, when I was watching your video a couple weeks back, was this one. Redman's Muddy Waters record. Pretty much every skit on this album is absolutely hilarious. I mean, the skits take nothing away from this album. I think this album's a masterpiece. Just phenomenal, but the skits are hilarious. Like, I love the stick-up skit in this, man. Just, I don't know, it always stuck out to me. But Redman's he's always funny, man. All his albums have good skits and stuff, but this one really stuck out to me. Just everything really works. So, first up is Redman's Muddy Waters. Next up was one that I came across and was in the collection there, and I just remembered about it. It's off Little Half Dead's album, The Dead Has Arisen. It's a skit called Play 'em or Spray 'em, and it's basically a really long skit. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long, and what it is, it's like an MC battle, and you're the judge. So these two MCs go head to head, and whoever loses gets gaffled. They basically get sprayed up. They get shot. It's a pretty fucking entertaining skit, actually, because some of the songs are just, the beats are in, like, the lyrics are so fucking bad and shit. It's hilarious, man. But it's one of those skits that, probably could be definitely not on the album, because this album, like, top to bottom is really, really good. Like, this is a really underrated, ridiculously underrated fucking album, like, totally underrated. And this one's hard to get out of print and shit like that, but that skit, though, really sticks out because it's pretty entertaining, and it's long, too, so. Little Half Dead. Another album that I thought of right away when you asked the question was this one. MC8's We Come Strapped. Now, I think this is one of the best produced West Coast gangster albums. I love the beats on this record. They just fit so well. So different for the time. Nothing was ever even closely duplicated to this, But, right from the first endolude on the record called Niggas a Kill, it's just such a dope beat, man. It just gets you so hyped for the record. Then it goes in the Death Wish 3 intro right before Death Wish 3 song. It's fucking awesome. Nothing but high endolude on here, and right to the end, man, to the West Side endolude. Great skits, just funky beats, bass lines and shit. This is awesome. Fantastic. It's one of those records I could just actually pop on right from the intro and just play it through song 15. Love this one. Hope that Big L's not too loud in the background. Next up is actually another one that I thought of right away, and is it's the intro to Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music by Outkast. My intro to Let You Know. That little quick intro, I mean, right after Peaches. Just a dope beat. They fucking ripped that shit. Just a great way to start the album, man. They probably could have done without Peaches right away and then just put my intro to Let You Know to start the album, but whatever. It still works. But yeah, my intro to Let You Know, fucking amazing intro. Another really cool intro that I've always loved, and I just talked about this album actually a little while ago, and it's the Capital Punishment in America intro by the Lynch Mob, off their Gorillas in the Mist album. Capital Punishment in America, I just love how it kind of sounds like an American Justice kind of deal thing. It's just a great start to the record. I barely ever skip it when I pop the album on. I just pop it on, play that through, and then gets right into the grittiness of the record. So that's a really cool intro. One that made me laugh from a couple years ago. I almost shit my fucking pants when I was listening to this album. it actually caught me off guard because it starts out as with a beat and like an MC kind of trying to, do his thing, and then it just cuts off, phone rings, and it's off of Montezuma's Revenge Souls of Mischief record, and I'm talking about the Mr. Freeman skit, and I'm referring to Morgan Freeman, phones, and just starts talking some funny ass shit. When he says Morgan Freeman's gonna fuck a white bitch in his next movie, I almost fell off my seat, man. It was just so funny the way he says that. But it's one of those skits that like just totally fits in the middle of the record. I think this album's underrated too. I love this record. I think it's dope. But yeah, what a funny ass skit, man. I love that shit right there. It's great. Yeah, next up is, it doesn't actually specify that it's an intro, but it pretty much is. And I'm going to go with Lost at Birth. Off the Public Enemy, Apocalypse 91, The Enemy Strikes Black record. Lost at Birth is basically like a 4-minute intro. It's got a verse at the end of it, but it's basically the intro to the album. It's just fucking dope, man. It's just hypey. It's just amazing. Love this Public Enemy album. It's just so hyped, and it's great, man. And then Rebirth is kind of like not an intro, but I guess it's kind of like an interlude right after Lost at Birth. It's only about a minute long. Really cool, like just fresh verse. So really, two really cool fucking tracks to start off a record. Love it. Next up is Warning off Ice-T's Home Invasion, the intro to this album. I love the intro to this because it just makes me laugh, and it's just like, if you are offended by words like bitch, fuck, cock, it just says every curse word in the book. Yeah, it's just a great little short intro to a record. Always thought that was amusing. And yeah, Ice-T. I'm going to go with all the skits off this record. Everything on this album makes me laugh, top to bottom. This is one of the albums that is actually really, really long. Like, I think this album runs like 75, 76 minutes long. But it never has a dull moment in the entire record. It's entertaining, one of my favorite albums of all time, and that's Black Sheep's A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. And every skit off this record is great. Right from the intro, they're talking about how, they're talking about the Native Tongue crew that consists of De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest, and then it goes into them talking about now every crew has a black sheep in there. Very cool intro. And right from Lazum, Ladies Against Sexist Motherfuckers, that skit is hilarious, man. I just love how condescending they are to the fucking host, and that it's just so funny to me. But yeah, great album. I'm going to go with pretty much everything off this, or everything that JayZ has ever done. JayZ presents The Old Maid Billionaire. The skits on this one are funny as hell too, man. JayZ is so funny to me, man. I think that dude is amazing. I'm really stoked that he's coming out with a new record too, actually. So, gonna have to, Pimps Don't Pay Taxes, name of this record. I'm gonna have to definitely pick up that new JayZ record. Big fan of him, and I'm glad that he's back. So, but yeah, everything, even the whole album is just comical. Skits, everything. Now this album right here, I love the production on this album so much. I've always been a big fan. Such a shame that he lost his voice, and I'm talking about none other than the DOC and Helter Skelter. The intros and interludes on this are fucking amazing, man. Like, I love the interlude with Voodoo Einstein, and it's like this really like dark, fucking grimy, like guitar kind of heavy, like long ass interlude. It's like 5 minutes. It's really cool. The commercials on here are really cool. There's one towards the end that's just Erotic D ripping over this really cool beat, but it's like a minute long kind of commercial thing. But yeah, this album plays out really dope, man. I can top to bottom, amazing, fucking sick production, man. It's too bad the DOC didn't have his, well, mind you, his regular voice probably wouldn't have worked as well with these beats, but who knows? I don't know. The intro and outro to Onyx's Back the Fuck Up. Yeah, like, how can you go wrong with, Back the Fuck Up, the Onyx is here. I love that shit, man. It's fucking grimy. This is such a dope album. Such a fucking dope record, man. Yeah, everyone knows this one. I love the outro, Eternal E on this record. Obviously, it was a track that Easy never got to rhyme over. So DJ Ella finished the track off, like he says, with clips of interviews and stuff like that. But it's a really cool outro. It's just a long ass, really funky, dope West Coast beat. Eternally, I think it's fun as hell. And last but not least is, well, a couple off here really. The G-Funk intro off here I think is sick. So sick, man. So Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Snoop's Doggy Style record. And, of course, the interlude before JayZ and Hustlers. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a motherfucking hustler. You better ask somebody. Now, that shit is funny as hell. Yeah, great album. I mean, classic shit right there. So those are, some interludes and intros and outros and shit like that I like. The next question was, what's your ideal length for an album? Now, this was actually really easy for me because when I was growing up, especially back in the early 90s, there was a lot of albums that were around 40 to 45 minutes. And I like that because when you're like 10, 11 years old back in the early 90s, 1991, 92, there was no such thing as downloading music. So what I did is, I had friends with older brothers and stuff that listened to hip-hop and stuff, and my favorite thing in the world was an album that was under 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, because it would fit on one side of a 90-minute tape. So I could get 2 albums on there. For example, like I remember having this one tape, and I remember having, Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory on one side, and then having, like, Foo Schnicken's F You Don't Take It Personal on the other side. Shit like that. And, I just love when albums were like 45 minutes or, a little shorter. But my ideal length now is like anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes when I listen to a CD. There's a lot of albums out there that are like 65 to 75 minutes that are really, they keep you interested and stuff. But there's not a lot anymore. I find that there's a lot of albums that drag. You find yourself skipping a few tracks here and there. So I'd say 45 to 60 minutes is like the perfect length, and you would actually mention too that you'd like, if there's like a 30-minute or 25-minute album, it's more like an EP or whatever, that's fine too. It's a little short, but if it's really, really good, that's fine too. But my ideal length for like a full-length album is 45 to 60 minutes for sure. So, but yeah. And the third question was, what if you could, take an album and just, basically make one album out of it, by taking out tracks and stuff like that, and just make your ideal album out of an album. Now, you'd mentioned that you pretty much got this idea from me, because I do this with quite a few albums. Like, if I'm going to put something on an iPod, perfect example was, the Master Ace and Edo G record. They had like an interlude like every second track. So when you listen to it on the fucking CD, you find yourself kind of skipping because the fucking interludes and stuff aren't that great. So if you put that on an iPod, you take out all that shit, take out that really shitty last track, you got a pretty decent album. It's okay. But I did this in the past. I've had this playlist on my computer for my ideal album. Now, I don't mean I know this is one of everyone's favorite albums out there, so if you're watching this right now, don't get offended by this. I enjoy everything. I just wanted to make my ideal album out of this double album, and it's pretty much a classic record. Now, and the album I'm talking about is the Wu-Tang Forever record. Now, it's a double disc, and in my opinion, there's a lot of double disc albums out there that do have some filler. Even in that album for me, I like pretty much every song on the album. But I just wanted to take out a couple songs that I thought that were filler and make, like, my ideal album out of there. And it runs about 77 minutes long, so it would actually fit, like, on a normal CD. And that was another reason for it, though, too. It had to be under 80 minutes, so if you actually wanted to burn it to a CD or just pretend and actually make your ideal album out of it, it would have to fit on a CD. So it runs about 77 minutes exactly. There's 18 tracks, and I will cut this video off here. I have the playlist right behind me. I'll just basically show you on my computer what it is. You can get your idea from that. But I've had this thing made for a long fucking time. Anyways, so I'll be back. Alright, so Alex, this is going to be the ideal album right here. I hope you guys can see that right there. Basically, it's in order of the songs that are actually presented to you in the album. So that is going to be the ideal album. It says right down there, if you can read that, that runs about close to 77 minutes long. But this was the record that I put together a long time ago, and I actually listened to quite a bit. So, but yeah, that is it right there. If you want to pause it or whatever, you can check it out. But it's not really that hard to figure out. So, but anyways, I'll be back with you in 1 second here. Yo, so that is going to do it for my contest entry for you. I hope that works for you. And yeah, once again, congratulations on the 500 subscribers. That's fucking amazing, dude. Yeah, you definitely deserve it, so. But yeah, that is it. Mood616 signing off. Peace. And, oh yeah, if you're not subscribed to Alex Underground Vault, run over, check out his channel. I'll leave the link down below. Hit that subscribe button. And yeah, so anyways, Mood616 signing off. Peace out.